Okay, looks like we're live. So, thank you for joining me today. And we're going to continue drawing together. We've been talking about how you can use shapes to draw just about anything. And so, we're going to draw something that many people struggle with, which is hands. And I'm going to show you with just by using some basic shapes, we can do some more complex drawings. So, let's begin. All right, so let's get started here. I've got a couple of hands that we can draw. I'm going to draw on top of this hand, this hand on the right. And I'm going to use a bright color. That's pretty bright. And we're going to start just by looking for some basic shapes. Okay, we'll start here. We're going to zoom in just a little bit. Make this a little bigger, and we are ready to roll. Okay, good. All right, so we've got our hand, and we can just start with some basic shapes. We've got our rectangle for the palm. We've got some rectangles for the fingers. And we can also, another thing we can do is draw a rectangle and then add a half circle. That would be just fine way to do it. For the thumb, we can have an oval, a rectangle. Kind of looks like a square there, but that's all right. We're going to add a circle, and then we're just going to connect it. The wrist comes down, and we'll just finish this off. I'm not worried about making this nice and round because we're just trying to lay it out, and that's a pretty good layout. Now, we said earlier that when you're drawing, using straight lines, most likely you're drawing a man-made object. So this would really be more of a robot hand, which we don't want. So I'm going to go back to this outline. And let's see if I can dim that a little bit. Let's see what I want to do here. Go back. We're going to dim that. And it kind of goes away. All right, that's all right. We still have the basic idea. Okay, and so now we're going to go back over this rectangle. Let me mute that a little bit. Oops, wrong one. Come here. There we go. Now we're going to draw on top of what we've already done. But this time I'm looking for those shapes and those curved lines. So I'm going to go over and we're going to make that fingertip nice and round. We'll add a curved line. And we're going to do that for all the fingers. So we've got a curved line. Comes out this way, curve. And I'm going to throw some of those lines in there to indicate that's where the finger bends. But we're using these curved lines just to draw the fingers. You can put the ring in there. The palm, I can see a nice curved line here. So we'll add that. Before we went straight down, and actually we've got a right angle there. We don't want that. We want to curve it down. And we're going to curve up this way. And then once it gets over the top of the thumb, it comes down a little more straight. We're going to get that knuckle in there, a nice curved line here, curve back. And we're going to take a quick look to see how we did so far. And that's pretty good for a hand. Let's keep drawing. We would, of course, add some of those lines to get the wrinkles in. Indicate some veins there. And this is a great place to start. And I'm going to turn those down again. It's already looking like a hand. Now, I realize I traced it, but I just wanted to make the point that we could start with some basic shapes, and that would help us to know how to lay it out. So we're going to draw another hand, but this time we're going to draw those shapes, and then we'll see what it looks like to just be able to look at something and draw it without tracing it using those shapes. So let's come back here. Now we're going to move to these hands. I'm going to do the one on the right. And let's turn off that hand. And we're ready to get started. Okay, so now I'm looking for some shapes. Let's go with blue this time. And I've got a curved line here. We still kind of have that rectangle. Maybe you can see it there. Move this down. Okay. We're going to turn on the opacity of this. There we go. So we still have a rectangular solid here, but we're not going to probably come in more like this. But we're going to adjust that now. Oops, I don't want that one. I want that one. Okay. So we're here. Okay, so we've got the base of our hand. It's going to come down here. You can think of this as a cylinder that widens out towards the bottom. We've got some ovals here, and then the back of the finger is going to be flatter. Okay, so now we're going to draw that over here. And I'm going to start again with the palm, which I'm thinking of as a rectangular solid, but it's very fluid. I'm not using a ruler. We're adding a little bit of bend to it. I'm going to add the wrist, which we said is going to look kind of like a cylinder. So we'll add our cylinder there. Hopefully that helps you see the cylinder. Okay, we're going to connect them with a curved line like that. And then we'll also curve it that way. So now the hand is kind of turning out. I'll get rid of this. So now we've got the base of our hand. We're going to draw some guidelines for the fingers. And they are, you could think of these ovals as the base of the finger. And it kind of goes up and then this way. Maybe it bends a little bit at the top. Okay, this finger is going to go up and bend that way. This finger is going to come out this way. And the last two digits kind of make that one line. And then this one, we're just going to have come straight out. We've got the base of the thumb is like an oval. Look at a little egg shape there. We've got our cylinder, and then it curves out this way, which you could just draw an oval, and then we've got a circle here for the joint of the thumb. Okay, and then as this palm folds in, it's going to create all kinds of interesting lumps like that. Okay, so now we can draw over that. So let me get another layer. And it's time for something a little more dark. And we're ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to come back to the thumb. Let me add another layer there. Okay, good. I'm going to increase the opacity. And we should be good to go. I'm going to move this one on top so we can have a better idea what we're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to that thumb. And I'm using that curved line. Comes down that way. And it gets wider as it goes to the base of the thumb. So I'm going to use a curved line. We're going to give it another curve there. And it's wrapping around. So again, you're thinking of this thumb as a cylinder. I'm going to tuck a little wrinkle in there. It's going to come back down this way. Curves there. And now I'm looking at the model, and I'm just seeing all of these wrinkles. We're going to come back to the thumb here. It's going to curve out, slightly in a little bit, and then we're going to go straight down. Okay, I'm going to do the same over here. These wrinkles kind of wrap around, and then it goes down. You can see that a little bit of an S. We talked about the lines that we use, C, S, I. C is the curves. The S is the concave, convex, and then the I is the straight lines, which you will not see much of here because straight lines are for man-made objects. And when it's something that grows, it's generally C's and S's. Nice curved line here at the base. We want to make sure those curved lines are there because it helps make these the bottom part of the finger fatty, which they are. So we want that to be true. Okay, so we're going to draw that curve for the knuckle, come around, fatty part, and then curve around for the finger. See another little S there. And it tucks back behind the wrist. And then these fingers, one other trick that you can use is to, let me see here, let's get another layer. As I look at the fingers, the measurements are need a little help. So I would say the thumb probably shouldn't go any higher than that. The pointer finger, that's good. This one needs to come in a little bit. This one's shorter, and this one needs to come in even more. Okay, so I can do that. I can come back. Okay, I'm going to erase some of what I've drawn here. And we're just going to adjust it a little bit so that it makes more sense. Okay. All right, so then I'm just going to come back and make that a darker. Make that thumb just a little bit more thin. Oops. There we go. And that's better. All right, we're going to come over here. And that's a little bit more proportional to the way it should be. So that's a good thing. All right, so we're going to add thumbnail in here. And we're just not going to get all the lines, but just a few to indicate the wrinkles of the hand. And we could continue to work on this and get it to where it looks a little, the structure's a little more sound. But the main point of today is I just want you to see that we started with those basic shapes. And it's the basic shapes that help us to draw anything. And I don't know if I said it yet or not, but there are professional artists who will avoid drawing hands because they are difficult and they're easy to mess up. And if you don't do it right, they look lumpy and, it's not great. But you don't need to avoid hands. If you know the basics of drawing with shapes, you're good. And so I hope that's helpful. I hope that you're able to have some fun with the shapes. If you have anything in particular that you have trouble with, just let me know. Leave me a comment, and we'll address it. We're going to be doing a lot more live videos this month, and hope you're having fun with this. I'm having fun. If you'd like to see some more of my artwork, it's dango.art, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thanks. Bye.